Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. As educators and administrators, we all know the familiar weight of IEP season. We know what it feels like to sit behind mountains of paperwork, looking at worksheets, trying to capture the essence of living, breathing student in few compliance boxes. But today, we are going to challenge the status quo. We are here to talk about reimagining IEP progress monitoring. We're going to explore how we can center asset based progress notes and align them seamlessly with data tracking, moving from a culture of clinical deficits to a culture of human potential. Before we dive a little bit into the framework, a little bit about who I am and why this is my life's passion. My name is Canissa Grant, and like many of you, my heart is rooted in the classroom. As an experienced educator and research practitioner, my work centers on the intersection of special education, bilingual learners, and dual language programming. I founded Canissa Grant Curriculum Instruction along with my YouTube channel and newsletter, Disabilities in the Mainstream, out of critical need to provide special education teachers and administrators with actionable research backed practices that don't just check a compliance box but actively further equity, access, and dignity for every single learner. Here is our roadmap for today's session. We are going to anchor our time in three shifts. First, we will redefine data tracking not as a bureaucratic burden, but a genuine tool for equity. Second, we're going to talk about how we move systems beyond mere administrative compliance and bring focus back to being student centered. Finally, we're going to learn to reclaim the progress report itself, transforming it into a narrative of joy, resistance against the deficit mindset. To build an equitable data system, we must first ground our tools in critical frameworks. Disability critical race theory, or DisCrit, reminds us that racism and ableism are deeply intertwined systems that rely on one another to label marginalized students as deficient. When we look at the progress monitoring, especially for Black girls, we must actively pull from the Black girlhood studies to counter the historical trend of over identifying, over policing, and adultifying Black youth. Our progress data must measure growth towards self actualization, not assimilation into restrictive and oppressive norms. Let's look through the lens of multicultural learners. Traditional progress monitoring often relies on strict English only metrics for complex literacy evaluations, which fundamentally penalizes a student for navigating multiple languages. We must reject that. Instead, we need to track data through translanguaging, allowing students to dynamically use their linguistic repertoire to demonstrate knowledge. As administrators and teachers, our job is to align accuracy trends with actual communicative competence rather than demanding forceful assimilation. If you might be thinking, this sounds beautiful, Canissa, but how do we actually do this when my caseload is overflowing? The answer lies in smart systems. We use spreadsheets not to dehumanize data, but to strip away the subjective human bias from compliance metrics. By embedding a simple formula like the one you see here, if slash is blank statement, we let the spreadsheet handle the binary question. Did the student meet the target or not? Automating these calculations saves your vital cognitive energy. It frees up your brain from crunching numbers so that you can focus on what matters: responsive instruction. Here's what it looks like in practice. It is a clean objective and fast. You put the data in the target line and the student's actual accuracy. The sheet automatically populates the progress made column with a clear yes or no. Look at the trajectory on June 1st and June 8th. The formula reads no, but by June 16th, the student hits the 85% accuracy. The sheet reads yes. This isn't a log, it's a visual narrative of a student's journey completely stripped of emotional or bias assumptions. Once the spreadsheet handles the objective math, our job is to translate that data into impact narrative. We do this by using a specific formula: core strength, contextual observation, objective data plus celebration of success equals ability centered progress notes. Look at the transformation on your screen. We are actively moving away from deficit language. The student is failing to meet the English criteria. Instead, we are moving towards student expertly utilizes translation structures to access multi-step tasks, demonstrating an actual trend of 85%. See the difference? The first shuts down the opportunity, and the second illuminates exactly how the student succeeds. This represents a fundamental paradigm shift in special education data analysis. The traditional deficit model focuses on individual pathology, views the student through a hegemony of normalcy, and has a goal of forced assimilation or curing the disability. We are stepping into the joyful radicalism matrix. Here, our focus is on human variation. Our lens is collaborative, DisCrit approach, and our ultimate goal is the student liberation and profound sense of belonging. This is how we change the culture of our schools. Let's look at a real world example of what joyful radical note progress note looks like for a student named Maya. Instead of a dry sentence saying that she is behind grade level, look at how we frame her story. Drawing upon a deep phonemic intuition and an innate talent for recognizing structural word patterns, Maya approaches complex grade level text with immense curiosity. We can call out her successes with multiple syllable words, and then we ground it firmly in the objective from our spreadsheet. She hit 80% accuracy, a triumphant rise from her 30% baseline. This note doesn't just satisfy the auditor, it tells Maya's future teachers, her parents, and Maya herself exactly who she is capable. She is a capable scholar. You don't want to leave here today wondering how to write these on your own. On the screen is a plug and play template that you can take back to your schools and caseloads tomorrow. It provides the exact linguistic scaffold you need to highlight the positive attributes, identify, and the specific tools or interventions being used, and inject the hard data from your tracking sheets. This template is designed to systematically disrupt negative narratives and affirm our students' absolute capacity to master grade level standards. I also want to note that the spreadsheet will also be attached to the description box of this video for you to access and be able to implement into your progress monitoring data tracking. Here are some references that really inspired me throughout my process of writing and creating this framework. And lastly, if you want to learn more about my mission and you are really interested from this video about how you can learn more about integrating liberation practices, I have two memberships offered on my website, www.canissagrant.com. The first one is called Rooted and Risen, Black Girlhood Studies and Biliteracy Collective. This is a membership plan of $25 a year where you can learn more about how to integrate these two paradigms into your daily practice. Then, the more applicable version of this process and this membership is the liberation practices. This is where I'll include this video and other types of videos to make your life easier in terms of integrating liberation practices into your daily instruction and the instruction of your teachers. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you learned a lot. Please learn more about me and my mission to integrate liberation practices for Black and Latina girls in special education at www.canissagrant.com. Thank you very much.